recently deleted my Hinge and I don't think I'm ever going back. And so many other women saying that they also deleted the app. Dating apps are no longer for dating. Men have just turned dating apps into like an easier way to access convenient sex. And love, we are kind of meant to be found. We're not meant to be actively trying to find love. It's just supposed to be something you stumble into. I don't understand how men got onto dating apps and were like, oh yeah, this is not going to be for dating. I literally was talking to a guy for a month. I was seeing him almost every single week. Got me a Valentine's Day gift, all this stuff. Woke up one day and was like, I cannot be in a romantic relationship. Why were you on Hinge? I literally matched with another guy and he's like, oh, what are you on here for? Usually when they ask you what are you on here for, they're either because they actually seriously do want a girlfriend, which is like very never, or because they're trying to see if you want to hook up. So I was like, you know what, let me give this guy like the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, oh, I'm on here trying to find my husband that I could run around the playground with at 2 a.m., being kiki. This guy goes, something similar. I'm also trying to find people to hang out with late at night. I said, hang out with late at night? What do you mean? He goes, what's wrong with that? I said, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, I'm trying to find people to hang out with late at night or early mornings. I said, baby, you're looking for a prostitute. That's what you're on this dating app for? A lot of the components of dating apps are just so superficial because I genuinely am such a surface level person on first match. You don't hit everything, all those points, I'm not gonna like you. So the men I've ever dated were from dating apps and they were the worst ones, but they were the most beautiful ones. But the guys that I met, like, either through mutuals or in regular life, they weren't as attractive, but they were so much better. I feel like we get on dating apps because we feel this idea of like scarcity, so hard to find people. I was definitely like that too because I had this whole idea like, fuck, how am I ever gonna find someone? There was a time people dated before dating apps. I think if we all put our fucking foot down and we get off the dating apps, men are gonna go back to talking to women in public because they don't do it anymore because it's just so much easier to go on an app and swipe. I really feel like when you get out of the mindset of allowing men to like behave mediocrely with you, when you get out of that, you'll realize that it's almost impossible for someone to come with like the pressure right off with dating app because they've never had a conversation with you in person. They don't know who you are. How can I expect you to like want to plan an amazing date for me? And the only thing you have to go off of is 4 prompts and some photos of me. When somebody meets you in person, there's more of that initial connection. So they're more likely to be a bit more emotionally involved with you. So this is your sign. Get off the apps. Go find your man at Air One, the gym.
What is up, YouTube? In today's video, I want to talk about blame that people are placing on dating apps. Lately I've come across a lot of articles of people seeming to blame dating apps for everything that's wrong with modern dating. I actually disagree with majority of the sentiments around blaming dating apps for the modern issues in dating. A lot of people are blaming dating apps. They're like, oh, the reason men want to be single is because of dating apps. Ladies, just get off of dating apps. By the way, this video isn't me advocating for dating apps because I personally think, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, especially for a man, as a guy. Either way, you're pretty much fucked as a guy. Majority of men, you're going to have a lot of dating nightmares for the majority of men. So dating apps or just go outside. Either way, you're still fucked either way. A lot of people want to blame the programming of the app. And, as an engineer myself, I understand that most of this is bullshit. They think these companies have a grand scheme of keeping people separate so the companies can make money. And it's like, you fool, if you really believe this, you are a moron. But as an engineer myself, I understand that these apps it's not the programming. It's not some magic computer behind the scenes that's causing havoc in the dating market. Many people like to blame dating apps for their own lack of success in the dating world. And the first thing people recommend as a solution is to, just go outside, just get outside. Everybody just go outside. And that's like the antidote to the dating issues. As soon as somebody says, oh, dating is this, dating is that, oh, just go outside and meet people in real life, bro. Or just self-improve. It's almost just like telling people to self-improve, just telling people to self-improve is bullshit because it's mostly just basic. People like to pretend like they're saying something so profound when they say, go outside or to self-improve. And it's just a bunch of basic shit, very basic stuff. People act like it's so special and like they're saying something so profound, They act like because they self-improved or looks maxing like they did something so special. They got a haircut, maybe they lost a little bit of fat, maybe they grew some facial hair, skincare, the shit that people have been doing for years. You look at the 90s, the 80s, people have been doing this shit for years, bro. It's nothing new. Looks maxing, self-improvement. It sounds fancy, but it's all just very basic shit. But people like to give these anecdotes about just going outside, and I think this is like a Gen Z thing where a lot of Gen Z are especially are kind of like against dating apps now. I'm starting to see a lot of like Gen Z are like, oh no, no dating apps, meet outside. And that's all fine and good, whatever, that's cool. But is that really the answer? And this is what this video is going to be about, is just go outside. Is that really the answer? And me personally, I hate the whole anecdotal thing of just go outside. It irritates me like no other when people just say just go outside, bro, or just touch grass. It irks me beyond belief. And yes, you should go outside. You should go for walks. You should, walk to the gym or get some sunlight, spend some time in nature. Like, I'm not saying there's not a grain of truth in this advice, but it's often overprescribed as solutions to your problem. That's not what this video is about. In this video, I'm referring to the just go outside being dished out as if it's an answer or solution to dating. And like I said, I hate the whole just go outside, because outside is often ass. I mean, you're talking to somebody who's 31. I am a younger millennial, so I spent half of my damn life technically like outside, approaching women, doing cold approach, just doing like IRL, like that's where I spent most of my life. I didn't really use dating apps until I was like 27 or something, or 26 when I first used a dating app. So you're talking to somebody who has spent most of their life outside, and outside is mostly ass, especially for men. Sure, oh, you can have some fun, get drunk, whatever. Like that's different. We're talking about in the context of meeting romantic partners, and that's what most people want to do. But outside is often ass. Nature is cool. I like spending time in nature. I love going to the mountains. I don't like summertime. Summertime is the worst season in my opinion. It's hot, it's humid. There's kids everywhere. It's just so hot. The kids are out of school. The airports are busy. Everybody's traveling and doing things, family vacations. There's like this fake positivity in the air. Just a lot of fake energy during summer. It's just like a fake summer. Just feels so fake to me. Beaches are crowded. I don't even like going to the beach. I don't like sand. Sand is just, it's all over you. It gets in your ears, your hair. It's just messy. And it's just like, the beach doesn't smell that good. It's just not, I just don't enjoy like that type of shit. I prefer like going to the mountains or something like that. And, the beach is cool. It's fine to go every once in a while, but, I don't understand people who are obsessed with like going to the beach, like I just can't relate. But yeah, you're out there roasting in the sun. And so summertime, there's flies, there's bugs. It's just hot as hell. Like it's just, summer sucks. Summer fucking sucks, bro. And I hate summer, but I need to make another video on why I hate summer. That's probably another video, but there's this whole movement towards getting rid of dating apps. And are dating apps really to blame? Is it just as simple as go outside? People say, oh, dating apps have made women delusional. And, I actually don't think this is true. I think women have always gotten with, and sought out the men who they find desirable. And yes, do dating app make it easier? Of course, but that's just the progression with technology. That's something you can't stop. It has nothing to do with like, oh, just because of dating apps. People were meeting on forums and Craigslist back in the day. Like, but are dating apps dead? Are people moving away from dating apps? And I'm not sure. We'll have to see the numbers. But it does seem like there's a romanization or romanticizing of meeting in person. But the funny thing is that this ignores the reason why dating apps took off in the first place. If no one used it, then dating apps would have been out of business a long time ago. But for most part, dating apps have actually worked, and they've worked very, very well. I mean, look at the numbers. Is the data lying? I talk to people all the time who have met on dating apps, who have met on apps, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not advocating for dating apps. I think you meet people. It's random. You know, it's random either way. It largely relies on luck either way you slice it. But dating apps have worked for the most part, and just the advice of just go outside completely ignores the problem of why dating apps were created and they worked in the first place. So just trying to go back to meeting people in person seems to me like it's ignoring the main issue of why people started using apps in the first place. Especially, and I agree that the problem with like one of the issues with dating apps is that it's hard to convey your personality or your behavior, and I do understand that point, but I think that's way overplayed in my opinion. Just go outside, bro. Just have confidence, make a connection, and get their number, and you still get ghosted and get flaked. My phone is full of numbers of women who I've cold approached throughout the years. Back in the day, my phone was literally full of ghost numbers, fake numbers, flakes, a ton of flakes. Things went well. We had a good interaction, but for some reason, the girl just didn't respond. The same shit. It's literally the same shit as a dating app. Like, people act like there's going to be any difference just because you start cold approaching. In fact, it would actually probably be worse. Women don't love to talk to men who they don't find attractive. Sometimes they'll entertain it, especially if you're buying drinks or if you have a table or something they can benefit off of. And a lot of guys feel like just because a woman gives them the 30 seconds to say their piece, that they're doing something better, like they're doing something, but it's really not. And see, I used to be a dancer, and guess what? Majority of the girls who would be dancing, the dancers, they would be on dating apps. Most of these women would be trying to meet men another way. Maybe the dating scene, there's not their type of guy they're looking for. Maybe they're not finding what they want. And the first thing women do is they hop on dating apps. So it's funny, even though they are outside, they're still on dating apps. They still realize the value they had. And I don't think just getting rid of dating apps solves this problem. It doesn't just solve, because you still have Instagram, you still have social media as a whole. The world is more connected than ever. So just getting rid of dating apps that's not a solution. Also, clubs and bars are mostly dudes. And anybody who's been out enough will tell you this, that it's mostly dudes, bruh. At clubs and bars, it's a bunch of thirsty ass dudes, trying to posture and mog, trying to buy drinks, and just like, who wants to depend on people? Complain all the time about dating apps, and they have every right to complain, in my opinion. But see, they complain about the cons, about fake profiles, ghosting, too many options, people misrepresenting themselves, fatigue, feeling disposable, feeling that connections are forced. Nobody acknowledges the fact that this happens for the majority of men in real life. The only difference is now women are also experiencing this. But see, in real life, it's usually men who are doing all the work, so they don't have to deal with any rejection. Usually in real life and outside, women don't have to deal with a lot of rejection. But see, on dating apps, women deal with ghosting, flakes. They deal with the same bullshit that they typically wouldn't have to deal with. But for men, it's the same shit. you know like I said, my phone was full of numbers of women who I had cold approached, and it never amounted to anything. Many flaked, ghosted, never responded, even after positive interactions. It's all the same as a guy. It's only, like I said, it's only different for women. A lot of women often get a taste of, Chads or Tyrones, and they start dating way above their own level, and then they blame the dating apps. But this happens in real life too. This isn't like a new situation. Like, yeah, of course, dating apps does increase access, but I disagree that just getting rid of dating apps will solve this problem, because you see the same shit happen in real life. The cream always finds a way to rise to the top. A lot of women get vindictive and blame dating apps because they are dating way out of their league, and they get pumped and dumped, and they just kind of blame dating apps, and then they end up in this cycle of getting off dating apps, getting back on, getting off, getting on, and chasing the same types of dudes without having the self-awareness to look in the mirror and say, okay, well, maybe I'm dating way too out of my league and I'm just getting pumped and dumped. So, I think it's not just dating apps that's the problem. It's human nature. Technology only reveals human nature. That's all it does. It doesn't reveal anything. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't change things. The algorithms and all the social media platforms only reveal human nature. The dating apps are shit because Dating in general is shit for the vast majority of people, especially men. You know, many women want their fantasies of like how Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce kind of love. They want that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift love. You know, they got fantasies about some guy meeting them and sweeping them off their feet, the perfect guy. And it's like fantasy. They watch the sitcoms. They're watching Sex in the City and all these 90s shows that show people. And the reason why dating apps have worked in the past is because the opportunity of low effort and high reward in meeting people. For most guys, trying to rely on cold approach and all this stuff is high effort and extremely low reward. So as a guy, you are way more efficient actually using dating apps. You know, and I'm not telling you that you should use dating apps. You do what you want to do, bro. I don't give a fuck what you do. Do what you want to do. But I'm just giving some logic and making some sense of the whole idea of blaming dating apps for the modern dilemma of dating. And so I think the real question is, you know, why did dating apps take off in the first place? You know, and it actually worked. If you look at the numbers, most people have met in recent years on dating apps, you know, but it's crazy because people say, oh, dating apps aren't working, you know, but the numbers aren't lying. So they clearly are working. So where's the lie? You know, I've talked to so many people who have met their partners on dating apps, many people, you know, so where's the lie? You know, and maybe in the next few years, maybe we'll see a change, but I doubt it. You know, I seriously doubt it. Maybe we will see a change or a leveling out of how people meet, but I still think dating apps or some type of app or whatever will still probably come out as the top option of how people are meeting. You know, I'm not denying that people can't meet in real life or meet in person or cold approach, whatever, but I mean dating apps for the shit dating situation is just it's just not true. You know, I always found it odd that people said that, you know, dating apps are shallow because of how it's swiping and you know, you're just swiping with someone's profile. But the funny thing is for most guys, how is that any different? How is that any more shallower than just somebody seeing your face, someone seeing your height in person in real life and deciding whether you're hot or not, you know? Oh, you take bad pictures. Honestly, that's kind of easily rectifiable, to be honest with you, you know? But how is it less shadow? And you're talking to somebody I've done tons of code approaching, tons of bars and clubs. I've done it all. And I know it's the same. And in fact, my dating life actually did better on dating apps, which is funny. You know, my dating apps, my results have been way better than dating apps with less headaches, less mental drainage, approaching and the emotional drainage, you know, of dealing with flakes and numbers after putting in all that effort of talking to women and it still only ends in a flake or nothing happening, you know. But Jack, you know, dating apps are the reason women are delusional, bro. I don't believe it's that simple. You know, women are having their own success and money now in the real world. They're having their own success. Instagram and social media at large is still a thing. It's not just dating apps are the issue. Dating apps didn't break or crash the system. You know, just getting rid of dating apps won't fix or change anything, and it won't drastically change the dating life of the average or the majority of males. You know, there's a reason people have always kind of leaned on matchmaking services. You know, how you meet someone doesn't really matter that much. People put way too much stock or too much weight in how you meet somebody. It doesn't really matter that much. But people are naive to think that getting rid of dating apps is going to reset the dating market. You fool. You know, it's crazy how people don't put any critical thought into anything. They just spew whatever garbage comes to mind without even thinking about it. You know, just go outside is just another stupid movement and trend by NPC followers. You know, it's just another trend. All the NPCs, they follow along without question if it actually makes sense. And I feel like I'm the only person who's asking these questions, you know. Oh, but dating apps are just for the top 20% of men, bro. Is that any different than real life? Is there any difference? The only difference is that you can gesture max your way into being a oofy doofy for some girl. Sure, you can gesture max your way, but does that really change anything? Dating apps are only for the top 20% of men. What makes you think that just going outside is any different? Going outside puts you under the illusion that you are doing better because you feel more in control, but actually you're not doing any better at large. And actually, you're probably doing worse and wasting more time. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, making connections, whatever, socializing, whatever. I'm not saying that's all bad, but remember, we're speaking in the context of dating. If you're not really being desired in real life like that, why should you be out cold approaching? If you're not having women who are making effort to not just approach you, but show interest in you, why are you out trying to cold approach and wasting time? Again, like I said, this is coming from a guy who's done cold approach back in the early 2010s. It was only cold approaching. I did it for years, and I can tell you guys the numbers are largely the same, and it's actually a bit better. Like I said, I've done better on dating apps. Actually, I met actually more compatible women in the past on dating apps than I have in real life. And I've tried everything. I've done everything. Meeting somebody outside just relies on largely on extreme luck. Let's just think about dating apps versus going outside. Let's think rationally and logically about this. Just going outside to meet someone largely relies on luck and being in the same place, same time, and the same mindset or mind frame to meet someone. A lot of times people aren't even in the mindset to really meet somebody. They just want to be left alone with their friends. They don't really want to be bothered half the time. So you got to be in the same mindset, same place, same location, same energy. There's so many variables at play. There's so many factors that must align to make things work out. Just going outside is also very high effort and low reward, especially for men. The money, the time, the mental energy, the drainage, all of that. Coming across people or a certain person in real life is much less more likely than on a dating app. I've met people and women on dating apps who I would never have met in real life. Dating apps automatically create context where it's clearly obvious what everybody's on there for. So it's not like in the real world where you don't know if a woman is just being friendly. You don't know if she has a boyfriend. You don't know anything, right? And on dating apps, you don't know, but there's more context. But dating apps make you pay, bro. Yeah, why wouldn't you pay? As a man, it's cheaper to pay for a Hinge subscription than spending a ton of money and energy out chasing bras every weekend and week out. You're gonna spend money if you're as a guy. You're gonna spend money either way, as in your time, as in buying drinks, Ubers, food, whatever, or just the mental cost, the mental sanity, your peace of mind. If you're too broke to pay a subscription fee, then fuck you. You're just broke. You're just broke. Don't complain. I get sick of broke people complaining. The internet is mostly like a ton of broke people who complain about everything. Broke people are the loudest people in the room, and they have no real skills. They have no real value to bring to the marketplace, but complain about the price of each egg, cheese, milk, and dog food. I avoid broke people like the plague. I used to travel with broke people, and they try to nickel and dime everything. Well, shoot, how much is that? That's $3 more. I'm like, bro, we're on vacation. Nobody got time to be nickeling and diming. I avoid broke people, man. Not because I don't like them as people, it's because the mentality. But just going outside also depends on your lifestyle. Many people, many women will talk about how dating apps is draining and they'll rather meet in person. And that's because, see, using dating apps for women also requires some effort on the female's part. In real life, it's really no effort for women. They just show up, look pretty, get endless validation, endless drinks, endless this, endless that, and they don't have to do anything. They just give a fake number out. But on dating apps, a woman actually has to put effort into a conversation. She has to put effort into trying to meet up with that guy. Genuine interest, basically. On the dating apps, a woman really has to be genuinely interested in you to actually put effort into the interaction and actually meeting up in person. But in real life, you can get tons of fakes. Tons of women pretend. Some women are drunk. They've been drinking and they're overly friendly. And then the next day they are like, oh, I don't even really like this guy. He's not my type. But it was nice talking to you though. Bars, going to brunches, that type of stuff for men, for the average guy, for most guys, is a total waste of time. And I'm not saying don't do those things, but I'm saying don't do those things as in looking for dating options. Just going outside is not a solution. That's not just getting rid of dating apps is not the problem. Anyway, that is pretty much it for today's video, guys. I will see you in the next one.